the steps of St. Dunstan's church. How affable he was to the churchwardens, and he actually smiled upon a poor, miserable charity boy, who, his eyes glaring wide open, and his muffin cap in his hand, was taking his first stare at a real live bishop. To be sure, the beadle knocked him down directly the bishop had passed, for having the presumption to look at such a great personage. But then that was to be expected fully and completely, and only proved that the proverb which permits a cat to look at a king is not equally applicable to charity boys and bishops. When the bishop got to the vestry, some very complimentary words were uttered to him by the usual officiating clergyman, but somehow or another the bland smile had left the lips of the great personage, and interrupting the vicar in the midst of a fine flowing period, he said: "That's all very well, but what a terrible stink there is here!" The churchwardens gave a groan, for they had flattered themselves that perhaps the bishop would not notice the dreadful smell, or that, if he did, he would think it was accidental and say nothing about it. But now, when he really did mention it, they found all their hopes scattered to the winds, and that it was necessary to say something. "Is this horrid charnel house sort of smell always here?" "I am afraid it is," said one of the churchwardens. "Afraid!" said the bishop. "Surely you know. You seem to me to have a nose." "Yes," said the churchwarden, in great confusion. "I have that honour, and I have the pleasure of informing you, my Lord Bishop, I have the honour of informing you that this smell is always here." The bishop sniffed several times, and then he said: "It is very dreadful, and I hope that by the next time I come to St. Dunstan's you will have the pleasure and the honour both of informing me that it has gone." The churchwarden bowed, and got into an extreme corner, saying to himself: "This is the bishop's last visit here, and I don't wonder at it, for as if out of pure spite the smell is 10 times worse than ever to-day." And so it was, for it seemed to come up through the crevices of the flooring of the church with a power and perseverance that was positively dreadful. Isn't it dreadful? Did you ever before know the smell in St. Dunstan's so bad before? And everybody agreed that they had never known it anything like so bad, for that it was positively awful, and so indeed it was. The anxiety of the bishop to get away was quite manifest, and if he could decently have taken his departure without confirming anybody at all, there is no doubt but that he would have willingly done so, and left all the congregation to die and be something or another. But this he could not do, but he could cut it short, and he did so. The people found themselves confirmed before they almost knew where they were, and the bishop would not go into the vestry again on any account, but hurried down the steps of the church and into his carriage, with the greatest precipitation in the world, thus proving that holiness is no proof against a most abominable stench. As may be well supposed, after this the subject assumed a much more serious aspect, and on the following day a solemn meeting was held of all the church authorities, at which it was determined that men should be employed to make a thorough and searching examination of all the vaults of St. Dunstan's, with the view of discovering, if possible, from whence particularly the abominable stench emanated. And then it was decided that the stench was to be put down, and that the bishop was to be apprised it was put down. and that he might visit the church in perfect safety. CHAPTER 20.